Ladies and gentlemen, victories for democracy happen quite often, but today probably goes down as one of the biggest victories for democracy we've had in North America in decades. Donald Trump, who thought everybody else was stupid and he was the smartest man on the planet, got fucked over today when found guilty on all counts in a hush money trial, 34. Now, the verdict makes Trump the first U.S. president convicted of a crime. Now, according to CBC, 12 jurors tasked with deciding former U.S. President Donald Trump's fate in a criminal hush money trial reached a verdict in New York on Thursday, coming to a decision after 2 weeks of deliberations and several days of evidence by the prosecution and the defense. Judge Juan Marchand said he received a note from the jury foreman informing him the decision that had been made at 4:20 ET, 10 minutes before the jury was expected to be excused for the day. Marchand said the jury asked for 30 minutes to fill out the forms. He warned the court against outbursts of any kind when the verdict is read. Now, Trump had been charged with 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in relation to a payment to porn star Stormy Daniels ahead of the presidential election in 2016. He had pled not guilty and denied having had the alleged sexual encounter in 2006. Now, as it is going on, ladies and gentlemen, there was some deliberation as to what could happen. There was three options: guilty, not guilty, and a mistrial. Now, according to published reports, the 12 jurors, or the Manhattanites, decided the case. Those men and women, mostly white, most appearing to be in their 30s and 40s, decided whether Trump became the first former U.S. president convicted of a crime. Now, again, Thursday was the second day of deliberations that Trump committed felonies by falsifying business records to conceal a sex scandal. Now, a guilty verdict, which is anticipated, would uncork frenetic weeks of speculation about whether Trump might be imprisoned in the middle of his attempted political comeback. A sentencing decision would likely land in just over a month, perhaps around or after the Republican convention. Several veteran criminal lawyers contacted by CBC News deem a conviction probable based on the reading of the trial. This was before the verdict. And according to Mark Cohen, a longtime New York City criminal lawyer, it's pretty likely. Another former federal prosecutor, Eugene Rossi, he put a 75% to 80% chance of a conviction. Now, Trump's machinations over the years, ladies and gentlemen, have been so self-evident. This is kind of bizarre because a lot of people felt he wasn't going to be found guilty. He was involved in the nefarious dealings in North America dating back to the late 70s. My cousin was a police officer in the Montreal Vice Squad, and his name came up in conversation several times regarding dealings with crime families in New York, New Jersey, and in the Quebec region. Most of that has not been proven in court, but there were some allegations that were involved in the wrestling, boxing, and illegal dog markets as part of a sideline. Now, former state prosecutor Bennett Gershman says he always expected a conviction, even more so upon the strength of the prosecution's closing arguments. To these analyses, the prosecution has proven the key facts: that Trump paid off a porn star to cover up their fling, that he participated in a cover-up of the payments, and crucially, that he did this to influence the 2016 election, which he won, and intended to violate either election spending or tax laws. Now, the jury's conviction, again, the sentence would be 6 to 8 weeks, and on these charges, Merchant has a wide range of options. It's a staggeringly vast gamut of potential penalties that run from less than a slap on the wrist to a warning to a minor punishment to serious jail time. Now, Trump could receive anything from an unconditional discharge, meaning he's free without conditions, to probation, where he could have his travel limited or be forced to undergo community service, or face prison sentences of up to 4 years for each of the 34 counts. Few analysts expect prison time. The judge even scolded Trump's attorney for discussing jail in his closing argument as an improper attempt to sway the jury. Prison is highly unlikely, says New York criminal defense lawyer Julie Redelman, noting Trump's age, his lack of criminal record, and the charges in this case being the lowest class of nonviolent felony. But not everyone is as certain. Trump's behavior during the trial, with his frequent trashing of the judge and witnesses, has made a prison sentence more possible, says Cohen. Before the trial, he says he'd have assumed Trump would get probation, but judges have a responsibility in sentencing to promote respect for the law. And Trump has done his best to promote disrespect for the law, Cohen said. Now, whether he gets jail time or not, there's a whole bunch of machinations happening with felonies because in relation to international travel and different countries allowing him on their borders, including Canada, his travel would be restricted. Now, the verdict again, with the days of, Trump would have to meet with a probation officer tasked with writing a sentencing assessment. Now, Cohen warns that Trump could imperil himself further in that meeting if he keeps denying his guilt, shows no contrition or lies, that would wind up in the pre-sentencing report and be an aggravating element. Cohen's advice to Trump for that meeting, stay mute, is better than continue to deny your guilt. An appeal, again, would seem inevitable. In any case, the U.S. Constitution will allow Trump to keep running for president even if he was in jail, as one candidate did a century ago. Now, the acquittal was not predicted. A 12-0 unanimous verdict in Trump's favor wasn't even considered by many pundits. Legal was because in a city where he's unpopular, and the case laid with unflattering details, from his infidelity to his lying to his habit of not paying bills, and of course Trump was not even predicting an acquittal. He said Mother Teresa could not beat these charges. He said Wednesday as the jury began deliberations, and of course the old mantra, the whole thing is rigged. Now outside the courthouse, one of his fans agreed. A 57-year-old Brooklyn construction worker, Joe Palau, was wearing a red MAGA hat and holding U.S. flag upside down in protest. He's hoping for a hung jury at best, but whatever happens, he says, he shares another Trump prediction that he'll be elected president again. He found guilty, more people will go to him, more people. That's just a matter of opinion. And this article was about Alexandra Panetta, a Washington-based correspondent for CBC News. Now, the idea about Donald Trump being found guilty, again, we all know he's guilty. But like in a criminal court of law in the States, you can see people get guilty and get probation for a lot worse. Remember, this is a country where basically each state has its own rules and each state has its own biases, whether Democratic or Republican. But here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. There's a term in relation to certain things, Captain Obvious. If it smells like a crook and looks like a crook, and his ego is sky high, he tries to bully everybody. He tries to bully people in the media. He runs a cult. Everybody that follows Trump and thinks he's never made a mistake is part of a cult. I think what's going to happen here, ladies and gentlemen, as we like to say in Northern New Brunswick, we'll see what happens. I am not saying he's going to get jail time, and if he's going to get jail time, they're going to appeal. So it's a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen. He lost today. That's the key. Whether he goes to jail, or whether he doesn't go to jail, or whether he gets followers or wins again, he lost. So in the public opinion of the world, the good people, us, bet them. If you think Trump is any semblance of anything but a sham, a shaman, a fakir, if you know what that is. I'm a Jew, I can say the word fakir. He's a loser. Today, Donald Trump, loser. He's been a loser all my life. I've covered him. It's 41 years. He's going to continue to be a loser. Whether he goes to jail or doesn't go to jail, he's a loser. But on May 30th, 2024, Donald Trump, 12 good men, 12 good jurymen said, you, sir, are an idiot if you're thinking everybody else was stupid. And there will be no comments left on this channel. You can go complain someplace else. But Donald Trump today, you are a loser. Hope it feels good. By the way, as we say in Montreal Canadians lingy, na 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 na, na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye. Have a good one. Bye.